Over 600 million people around the world, about 1/5 of the global population at one time. They stopped whatever they were doing to watch a man take their first steps on the moon. In an era of smartphones or the internet, people crowded around black and white TVs to witness something truly unbelievable. In 1969, Apollo 11 made history by landing the first humans on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the lunar surface, while Michael Collins stayed in orbit. Sure, it was about beating the Soviet Union in the space race, but it was also about pushing the limits of what people thought was possible. And even though it happened 50 years ago, the effects of Apollo 11 are still being felt today. Like most of you, I'd always heard about the moon landing, but never really thought about how much it mattered until I started digging into it. After researching credible sources like NASA, historians, and tech articles, I started to realise that Apollo 11 didn't just change space travel, it changed the world. In this speech, I'm going to explain how Apollo 11 inspired major tech innovations, brought people together during a divided time, and was only made possible because of the intense pressure of the space race. First, let's talk about the tech. A lot of the stuff we use today has roots in the Apollo program. NASA developed over 2,000 technologies during the space missions, and many of them ended up being adapted for everyday use. For example, memory foam, which was created to keep astronauts safe during launch and landing, is now in mattresses, bike helmets, and even shoes. GPS, which was improved during the Apollo missions to help track spacecraft, is now what we all rely on to get to class or find the nearest taco spot. One of the coolest examples is the SNOS image sensor. It was originally developed to create smaller cameras for space missions. Today, it's in nearly every smartphone camera. According to Tech Briefs, the camera in your cell phone is a NASA spin-off. That means every time you take a selfie or record a video, you're using tech that wouldn't exist without the space program. As college students, we use this kind of tech every day without even thinking about it. Google Maps, weather, phone cameras, and all that connects back to the innovations driven by Apollo 11. It's wild to think that something meant for space travel is now part of our daily lives. Second, Apollo 11 wasn't just a tech milestone, it was a rare moment that brought people together. This happened during the Cold War, when most of the world was pretty divided politically. But during the moon landing, people across the globe all tuned in together. According to Times Magazine, even people in the Soviet Union, who were technically our rivals, watched a broadcast. It became one of the most watched events in human history. Buzz Aldrin even said in an interview that they felt like they were presenting not just for the US, but for all of humanity. And a lot of people saw it that way. It wasn't just an American success, it was a moment that reminded people what humans could achieve when we work towards a common goal. Think about the last time something truly brought people together. Maybe it was a championship game, a campus event, or even a viral video. Now imagine that, but on a global scale. That's what the moon landing did. It gave people from different countries and beliefs a chance to celebrate something together. It didn't erase the differences, but it gave everyone a moment of connection. Finally, none of this would have happened without the space race. The Apollo program existed because the US was competing against the Soviet Union. After the Soviets launched Sputnik and sent the first human into space, the US didn't want to fall behind. President Kennedy famously challenged the nation to land a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s, and that lit a fire under the space program. According to Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, the US spent about $25 billion on the space program between 1961 and 1973. That's adjusted to over $150 billion in today's money. This wasn't just about exploring space, it was about proving who was better at science, tech, and leadership. And that pressure is what pushed the US to make huge advancements in a really short amount of time. We see this kind of thing all the time. Competition pushes us, whether it's in sports, school, or work. People tend to step up when there's something at stake. The space race is just a massive example of that. Without it, the moon landing probably wouldn't have happened as soon or even maybe at all. And without that push, we might not have the tech, the STEM programs, or the global interest in the space we have today. To wrap up, Apollo 11 wasn't just about planting a flag on the moon. It proved that space travel was possible, and it changed the way we live, connect, and think about what's possible. I've talked about how it led up to major tech innovations, how it brought people together, and how competition made it happen. The moon landing may feel like ancient history, but it still impacts us all today. In our phones, our GPS, and our idea of human potential. It's a reminder that big challenges can unite people, spark innovation, and inspire future generations to reach for something bigger. If we could land on the moon in the 1960s, imagine what we could do now. If we had the same kind of ambition and drive.